Hey everybody, it's me, Andrew. Get out into nature and tune in for yourself. Resonate with the Earth's electromagnetic field via 432 Hertz, the universal frequency. Balance out psychologically and emotionally, and further strengthen your brain and your heart's coherence as well. Get a plant based diet going for yourselves today and nurture yourself. Right back into life. We are literally herbivores in our nature. Further balance out your physical body's pH level and get with alkalinity. Then you can generate some static electricity. Send me some love telepathically. Set attention to your mind and set intention to communicate. That is all there is to telepathy. You are now tuning in to great days. So today I want to talk about the attack on sexuality and why this is, and also the power of sexual energy. Okay, so let's get into this. Um, so the sexual energy is very, very potent. It's very potent energy that um, all beings possess, right? And the sexual energy is is pretty much kundalini energy. You know, the kundalini energy, the serpent energy that's coiled at the base of the spine. This is our sexual energy, and usually for most individuals who don't open up the kundalini up the spine, they are going to just use it for sex, you know, and reproduction. And it's the kundalini energy that allows us to actually procreate or create an offspring or create a baby, right? So the potency of the sacred sexual energy uh, is what is pretty much driving the whole creative force. Um, so it's capable of allowing us to reproduce, and that's the potency of the energy. And this is why they are also attacking human sexuality, you know, because it kind of puts us in a bind, you know, when there's all this different algorithmic functioning that is kind of binding us into not being able to access our sexual energy, or putting us off of our own nature, because that's what it really is. Because we all, every being has this sexual energy, right? And this is what keeps the whole creative process going. Um, so the reason why they put us off of our sexuality is to put us out of our nature, right? Because it is of our nature to have sex, and not only have sex but express our sexuality, right? But a lot of the mass is is pretty much they're put off, you know, from their very nature. And due to this, they are put out of nature, or they are put into a disharmonious state. And this is pretty much just the machine's way of putting you in a disharmonious state, right? Because we should be living harmoniously, and this is how we are going to expand our awareness into the next levels of awareness as a collective, you know, into like a planetary state of awareness, um, and then integrate further. But the attacks on sexuality and on sexual energy and on human nature is putting us out of this whole progression, right? So it's leaving us in a very trivial, low empowered state, or low powered state, you know, because this is where the potency of power is. It's in the sexual energy, um, or it's the power is in the sexual energy, right? They have multiple they have multiple different methods for being able to put you off of this, right? I want to say one of these is porn. Porn, it's just like a really convenient source of getting like some type of self pleasurous thing going with yourself, right? But there's so much of it that people are like overexpending themselves, you know. Even though we're able to like reproduce um our various different fluids and the energy, it can be rekindled, you know. But there's various different systems that are working to keep you in a addictive state to, let's say, masturbation, right? And then they push this onto the children or teenagers and even adults. You know, they're pushing it on everybody. They're just throwing out the information, and the information is algorithmically encrypting you to pretty much moment the addiction to expending your life energy, right? So you're giving your life energy to a system, a machine that keeps you doing this, and it subliminally programs you to once again to fall into that whole circuitry or that system of expending yourself, right? It's a disempowering system. There's nothing wrong with porn, but they're using it to keep people addicted to giving their life energy away, right? So they're literally draining people's life energy, and they're sapping that very life energy through unconscious systems to utilize that life energy to build the machine that is going to keep you in that very same cycle to drain your energy in the first place, right? So there's plenty of attack on sexuality, and it's putting people out of our, it's putting us out of our nature, and it's only keeping us in a disidentified state or a low powered state. Once again, if we're not empowered in our life, then it's very hard to be able to do anything, right? Or it's very hard to expand. It's very hard to live the life that you're really wanting. You know, instead you get entangled deeply in a system of like disempowerment and slavery and things like this, when life should be something that you are utilizing to the fullest, you know. But then we get caught in these various different systems of low power and enslavement and things like this. um, but you can get out of that if you start to know yourself, right? You got to understand yourself, you got to observe yourself, you got to study yourself, and you got to understand exactly how the various different systems that are implemented um, subconsciously can be avoided, you know, because you can avoid them. And you can, in avoiding them, you can slowly generate power back for yourself instead of letting it go, you know. Because the attack on sexuality is here to put you out of your nature, because sexual energy is the most natural thing ever, right? And sex is not a bad thing, right? But the system of insanity is kind of like treating people like cattle, you know. And it's kind of milking them and doing things like this, you know. So um, it's definitely a disempowering system, right? And it's an attack on sexuality. They do this for a reason, and they've done this for centuries, right? Probably eons. They've done this for a very long time, and they're probably going to continue doing this. So, what needs to be done is you got to come into yourself as an individual and you got to form a relationship with yourself, an intimate relationship with yourself that is going to allow you to look deeper within, that is then going to allow you to dive into deeper knowledges of self and understandings. And in this process, the expansion of awareness comes, and then you can understand from there that these various systems that are subconsciously put into place to keep you disempowered and living within misidentifications and things like this can be avoided. Once again, you can free yourself up, you can liberate yourself from them, and get back in tune with nature, because that is really what is needed. You just got to get back in tune with nature, and the energy is gonna come back into you. You know, you're gonna be very abundant with energy rather than very, very low dense, or very dense in your vibrational field, and very slow in your vibrational rate. But you got to ascend into higher light states of being. You got to come into an ultraviolet sea. um, so you got to open up all the chakras, but you can't do this if you're disempowered, or if you're living out of your nature, because it's only in living within harmony with nature that you're able to come back into a powered state where you have life and power are the same thing. Knowledge and power are the same thing. Knowledge is life and life is knowledge, right? And understanding and knowledge are the same thing, and understanding is awareness. Awareness is power. So, and awareness is energy. Awareness is electromagnetic energy. So you got to really become abundant in electromagnetic energy. You have an electromagnetic field, and we're supposed to be able to see this. It's supposed to be very, very visible to us. But we've fallen into a dense state of being, which now it isn't in our everyday perception, right? And we calling this everyday awareness, the conscious level of the normal person or the modern day man. Normal awareness is fixated to a physical body, or a physical experience, or maybe a little bit of the mental experience as well, which in that little bit of the mental experience is just like a conscious scanning for danger, so they're keeping you in a survivalistic mode, and they're keeping you within a very, very low vibration as well, when there's so much more than that. you know you can go deeper into the subconscious mind, and you can have a transcendental experience where this is where you have an experience where you transcend the body, right? I've had plenty of these experiences. um, and you can pretty much experience something beyond the physical body, and even deeper in the mind, right? But I haven't ever really gone that deep, but I've gone enough to just know that obviously there's a whole field that is incalculable, right? That is there, right in our presence. Um, but you can't access this because there's systems subconsciously put into place to keep you from accessing the perception of that field of things, because that is the disempowerment. They want you disempowered, they want you weak, and they want you a slave. They want to enslave you, right? But you're literally an energetical being, electromagnetic being, right? So uh, the attack on sexuality is part of that system that is to put you out of your harmonious relationship with nature or self, and also to disempower you, right? Because a lot of our power comes from our sexual energy, right? And this is why most people aren't able to awaken the Kundalini either, because it's all that whole system of not being able to draw the Kundalini up the spine is also part of that system to keep you in a low vibrational state, or asleep. Because when you awaken the Kundalini up to the Sahasrara, or the third eye, you awaken, right? You start seeing you have a whole experience that is beyond the physical and the mind, and these were the experiences. These are the experiences of all holy men, right? This is what they're talking about when you're reading any scripture in the holy books, right? This is what everybody's talking about. So, in order to access that, you just got to form a harmonious relationship with yourself, a healthy relationship with yourself. Once again, right? But first, you got to have the realization that you are in a disharmonious state of being, and you got to accept that there is systems of slavery and things like this. You have to understand. You got to realize that, and you have to accept it for yourself, so you can dive into it, and then go beyond it. Right? You got to accept it first, because it is the truth as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video. So I do thank everybody for watching once again. Peace out, one love, and have a great evening.